Pete Rose won 3 World Series, 3 batting titles, made 17 All-Star games, and has the most hits in baseball history. But he is still not in the Hall of Fame. He's been
Hold on, bro. The only thing I knew about Pete Rose, I ain't gonna lie, I knew him as Charlie Hustle. I knew that he was betting on his hits or something like that. It's the only thing I know. But not in the Hall of Fame. He got the most hits of all time. Hold on. Don't get me. Is he race baiting me? Hold on. I'm gonna watch the vid. I'm trying to hold on. We don't watch Barry Bonds. We don't watch King Griffey. I done seen some hitters.
Hits in baseball history, but he is still not in the Hall of Fame. He's been accused of cheating in order to break the hit record, trying to sell drugs while in the major leagues, having a relationship with a minor, ending a player's career after running him over in an all-star game, selling fake autographs, assaulting an umpire, betting on his own team to lose, and in 1990, he was sentenced to prison. But despite all of these allegations and being chased off the field by angry fans multiple times, Pete Rose is not only justifiably an American icon, he is one of the most beloved players ever. At one point, he was the self-proclaimed most famous white athlete in the world, is in the WWE Hall of Fame, was a reality TV star, was a manager and a player at the same time, signed the biggest contract in team sports history, and played harder than any other player in baseball. But why did Pete Rose go to prison? Are the allegations of cheating in baseball and betting against his own team true? And why a friendship gone wrong in 1989 led to him being permanently banned from baseball?
Bro, what? Bro, where I been at? When was this? I must have been in my mama's stomach still. What the fuck? Bro, as long as the messing with minors ain't true, I need this jersey, because that's a legendary name. That's a legendary man right there, bro. That's a legendary man. Bro, what?
Despite popular belief, Pete Rose is actually in the Hall of Fame. In 1998, he was tombstone pile-drived by his arch nemesis, Kane. The next year, after disguising himself as the San Diego Chicken, Kane pile-drived him again. And in 2000, Kane chokeslammed him, which was followed by a stink face.
Don't open your eyes! Somebody help poor Pete!
Pete Rose was 59 years old, which was good enough to earn himself a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. But this was only one of many weird yet entertaining ways Pete Rose was able to make a living. In 2013, he had his own TLC reality show centered around him and his fiance, who is a Playboy model and 39 years younger than Pete Rose.
Hey, you gotta
the show
get
is
it how
mostly
you
about
live.
Rose trying to get into the Hall of Fame.
Gotta get it how you live, Pete. He a legend for that. Ooh-wee. He a legend for
Fame
that
and his
a
wife's
legend for that
breast
one.
reduction surgery, which he was not a big fan of.
Too small.
Pete Rose even sells the opportunity to have dinner with him. He lets you bring 4 guests, promises to take 4 pictures, and signs 4 baseballs. And it only costs $5,000. However, guests are expected.
I'd take that $5,000. Is Pete still alive? Is he still alive? Well, somebody let me know in the comments. I'll spend that $5K to meet Pete. He legendary. I ain't even heard all the story yet. I had to share allegations
to pay for dinner. And perhaps his weirdest job was when he was hired by Fox to cover MLB. Because unlike his colleagues, Pete Rose was banned from being on the field or going into the clubhouse, but still broadcasted from outside the stadium until 2017 when Fox fired him after what is probably the worst allegation ever made against Pete Rose, which is saying a lot because he's been accused of almost everything. A lot of them are true, but a lot of them players in history. But if it wasn't for a huge lie and an extreme case of nepotism, he would have never played a single game of Major League Baseball.
I don't know how.
According to his coach in high school, Pete Rose was only the 3rd best player on his team, but was obsessed with making the major leagues. He claims he doesn't remember reading a single book in his life besides the Major League rule book. His dad wouldn't let him go to the movie theaters because he thought it would damage his eyes and make him worse at baseball, and in high school, he was left back a grade because instead of going to summer school, his dad had him play summer baseball, which he thought was more important, which actually worked out perfectly. During his 5th year of high school, he wasn't eligible to play because it would have been his 5th season. Instead, he joined a local adult league, hoping a scout would see him. But Pete Rose was under 6 feet and 155 pounds. But a scout from Cincinnati did see him and wrote a report that said, quote, "He can't hit, throw, or field. All he can do is hustle." Fortunately for Pete Rose, his uncle was also a scout for the Reds. One day, he busted into the Reds general manager's office, promising that his nephew would grow, hustle no matter what, and sign for basically nothing. After graduating high school, he did sign for basically nothing, and according to Sports Illustrated, Rose even admitted to reporter Al Michaels that he lied about his age in order to get a signing bonus. Rose signed to the Reds for $7,000 with a $5,000 bonus if he ever made it to the major leagues, and in the next 3 seasons, he gained 50 pounds, and despite making 36 errors in his first minor league season, he dominated at the plate and made the Reds roster in 1963, where many of his teammates immediately hated him. As a rookie, he still lived with his parents in his childhood home right outside of Cincinnati and shared a room with his 15-year-old brother. Kids in his neighborhood literally gave him a push out of his driveway on the way to games because his car had a hard time starting. But when he did get to games, he stood out. When he got walked, he sprinted to first base, sprinted on and off the field, backed up every play no matter how unnecessary it was, spiked the ball into the ground after every inning, loved running over fielders when he got the chance, and according to some, was the first player to do a headfirst slide. After trying to catch a ball that went 60 feet over the fence, Whitey Ford gave him the nickname Charlie Hustle just to make fun of him. Pete Rose loved the name and has branded himself with it ever since. Pete Rose is respected for giving as much effort as any player in the history of baseball, but many of his teammates still resented him, mainly for taking the Reds' former second baseman's position. The team's veterans would barely talk to Rose in his rookie season, so instead he gravitated toward players like Frank Robinson, Vada Pinson, and Tommy Harper, the team's 3 black players. Rose says he was scolded by teammates for sharing a hotel room with a black player and for tying Frank Robinson's cleats one day just as a joke. But Pete...
Damn. It was like that? Well, it is that time, yeah. I mean, dang. He was hated because of taking up a player position and because he hung out with black dudes. Pete, that nigga, he God in my book. He's God. Nobody can put bad nothing on Pete's name, bro. Legend. I need that jersey. That's the first. I'm getting
Rose
that.
didn't care because to him, they were the only teammates that treated him fairly. But soon, Pete Rose earned the respect of pretty much everyone because he went from not being able to, quote, hit, field, or throw to winning Rookie of the Year that season. He also got married that season and left the reception of his own wedding early just to go to a ceremony put on by Cincinnati's baseball writers. This was the first of many stories that made Pete Rose's legend off the field as big as his legend on the field. Around this time, he supposedly had a picture over his fireplace with his head on the body of a naked baby. He also had a different woman in every National League city and would soon be the center of multiple investigations by MLB, the IRS, and the FBI. In 1979, a woman went to court with Pete Rose saying that he was the father of her child and he had to settle out of court.
Lie detector proves that was a lie.
He supposedly had 2 sets of tickets to home games, one for his family and one for his girlfriends. His first wife says she confronted one of these women and ripped the necklace off of her during a game because it belonged to their daughter. Pete Rose was simultaneously becoming a baseball legend. Starting in 1965, he made the All-Star team 16 times in 18 years, playing 5 different positions. He finished with a batting average over 300 15 of those years and led the league in hits in 7 of them. He was the face of Aqua Velva, was in commercials for Milk Duds, Ballpark Franks, Wheaties, Atari, Kool-Aid, and more. He had his own energy bar, own chocolate drink, ashtrays, mugs, and statues. He was even featured in Playboy magazine, where he famously admitted to taking amphetamines before games.
What, bro? That's why he was so hyped. taking the methamphetamine before games. That's why they Charlie Hustle. That's why he was out there. Nah. He'll let this is crazy. I didn't know nothing. Bro, I wish I was alive during this time, bro. This is like stuff of legend.
Something that pretty much every major leaguer did, but he was probably the only one to admit it. Rose was also becoming famous for his long list of notorious altercations and fights with players and umpires. In 1970, Pete Rose is credited for ruining Ray Fosse's career in a game that didn't even count.
How? Them titties was real? Them was real? Oh my, bro, where was I at there, bro? Why baseball don't do this no more, bro? What going on with baseball? Baseball don't want to do this no more? Nah, we gotta bring this back to baseball. I watch baseball every game. What are you talking about?
Go on to kiss 37 other baseball players during games, getting arrested 19 times for doing it. Moments like these raised his...
She was getting arrested doing that. Oh, I thought the baseball was allowing her to do that. She was just coming on kissing people. Is them things real? We gotta find her actually. Somebody find her name. Well, they probably said the name in the thing. Ronald Reagan called it?
He then went to Montreal for half a season.
That nigga got a call from Ronald, the president. Bro, is that not aura? Is that not screaming greatest player of all time? That's crazy.
Was traded back to the Reds, where he would have one last great moment before his career was derailed forever. The Reds didn't really want a 43-year-old first baseman, but they did need a manager. So in the middle of the season, Pete Rose transitioned from an everyday first baseman in Montreal to a full-time manager and player in Cincinnati.
So they let him go through his whole career. Hall of Fame career. They let him go through his Hall of Fame career. Ain't nobody said nothing about no motherfucking nothing. See, man, y'all got it, man.
More than likely, the last player-manager in the history of baseball. And although the plan was for him to mainly manage and pinch hit from time to time, Pete Rose promoted himself to be the primary first baseman in 1985. And at 45 years old, he even made an all-star team.
At 45?
That year in September, he was one hit away from breaking the all-time hit record. He reportedly put on multiple undershirts and said, quote, "I'm going to sell all of these motherfuckers." He then proceeded to get his 4,192nd career hit. He was given a 9-minute standing ovation. A Corvette was driven onto the field and gifted to him, and the broadcast did a toast with 2 cans of Budweiser. However, it was later discovered that 2 of Ty Cobb's hits had actually been counted twice, and Pete Rose actually broke the record 3 days earlier. He played one more year for the Reds, retired as a player, and became the team's full-time manager. And this is where Pete Rose's life got interesting.
Crazy.
In 1988, Tommy Giosa, the kid Pete Rose brought into his home years earlier, was investigated for transporting cocaine across state lines, placing bets for Pete Rose, and hiding Pete Rose's winnings from the IRS. For now, Giosa refused to cooperate in an investigation against Rose, but police were investigating another one of Rose's associates for similar crimes and found betting slips in his car that were supposedly Rose's. Sports Illustrated published a story with evidence that Pete Rose had been illegally betting on baseball games that he was managing. MLB found more evidence that showed Pete Rose was more than a degenerate gambler. It was reported that Rose allegedly bet $8,000 to $16,000 a day on baseball games while he was managing the Reds. It was said he had a friend sit in the stands and give him hand signals to tell him if his other bets were winning or losing while he managed games.
Charlie hustle, man. He gonna hustle. He gotta get to this channel. What you talking about? 8,000 to 6,000 a day? Stop. Hey, I'm telling y'all something right now. That's why they was keeping him out of the Hall of Fame? Really?
The New York Post reported that Cincinnati police estimated he was up to $750,000 in debt to illegal bookmakers. And Pete Rose himself said that one bookmaker threatened to burn his house down and break his kids' legs if he didn't pay. John Dowd, the head investigator, has since said he believes that Pete Rose probably bet the Reds to lose. However, this was not in his report, and nobody else connected to Rose has ever claimed he bet his team to lose.
Yeah, don't ever disrespect Pete Rose talking about he bet his team to lose, the greatest hitter of all time. Why would he bet his team to lose? My thing is, I thought they said he was betting on when he was hitting. So when he was hitting, he wasn't betting. If that's so, why they come out of Hall of Fame? See, I don't get stuff like that.
Did bet on his team to win and did it pretty much every single night. At the time, Rose completely denied the allegations and continued to manage for over a year, while MLB, the FBI...
Hold on, fool, I gotta ask a question because now I'm fucking invested. Bro, so the 19-year-old kid, the dude who, whatever, after all this time, how did he get caught and why did he start to snitch, bro? Niggas, bro. That's why you can't involve niggas in your stuff, bro. You gotta do it by yourself. They get caught.
And the IRS all investigated him until 1989, when Rose voluntarily signed a document that banned him from baseball.
That's crazy.
While still claiming he never gambled on baseball. He was still eligible for the Hall of Fame, and Rose seemed confident that Commissioner Giamatti would be open to reversing the suspension after a year if he cleaned up his act. And Giamatti himself said when Pete Rose is eligible for the Hall of Fame, he will be on the ballot. Unfortunately, in an insane twist, Giamatti died 8 days later. His replacement, Fay Vincent, had the complete opposite opinion on Rose's Hall of Fame eligibility, and in 1990, the Hall of Fame scheduled a vote to make a new rule that made banned players ineligible for the Hall of Fame.
Baseball, I'm starting to hate baseball, bro. Well, matter of fact, I can't hate baseball because every sport do this dumb shit. I'm thinking, bro, whole time growing up, I'm thinking he was betting when he was hitting the ball. So when he was playing, actually getting them 3,000 hits, that he was betting on his hits. That's what I assumed was going on. But now I find out that he was betting when he was the manager that his team was winning. And he still ain't made the Hall of Fame?
But Pete Rose had bigger problems because at the time, he was in prison. The IRS found that Pete Rose didn't pay taxes for income he made from autographs and memorabilia, and once after winning $47,000 on a horse racing bet, had his friend Tommy Giosa claim the bet so Rose didn't have to pay taxes on it. Rose was sentenced to 5 months in prison. Giosa was sentenced to 5 years for that, as well as drug trafficking, which Giosa later said Pete Rose was involved in, claiming he picked up cash from his home and used it to buy drugs in Florida. He says that Pete Rose was eager to enter the drug dealing business while still managing the Reds. Another man connected to Rose also told MLB Rose had mentioned to him the possibility of selling drugs to make money while managing.
Man, these niggas is lying. They lying because they got caught. That's all it is, bro. Pete Rose is betting on games. He's a hustler, bro. That's what he do. He bet on games. But he is not no drug trafficker, nigga. I ain't about to let y'all put it in.
However, police never found any evidence to back these claims up. Giosa also says Pete Rose taught him how to fake his autograph and sign thousands of pieces of memorabilia, which were later sold. He says he would regularly place bets for Rose on baseball and made a 10% cut of all of Pete's losses. And perhaps his most damning claim is that Pete Rose corked his bat in order to break the hit record. And he is not
Man, stop playing with me, man. I swear to God, Giosa, nigga. Nigga, don't ever put that disrespect. That's disgusting. That's disgusting that you said that. I'm tired of this shit, bro. I'm tired of it, bro, because every time I watch a baseball video, if it's not a pitcher, if it's a hitter, bro, it's always something. Steroids. He was corking a bag. Why can't the hitters just be hitters, bro? Why every time a baseball player is great, they want to mess up his career by saying he's a scammer, a steroid user, a thief, this, that, a cheater, a gambler? We don't care. We don't care. We care that he's out there getting 4,000 hits. That's all that we care about, the general public. We don't care. As long as he ain't doing nothing to the minors, I don't know. I ain't hearing nothing about the minors. So that's all I really care about. All this other shit, man.
Only person to make this claim. In 2010, several of Pete Rose's game-used bats were x-rayed and showed to be filled with cork. A groundskeeper who worked for the Expos says the visiting clubhouse manager was the one who corked them, and this clubhouse manager recently filmed a video saying that he did cork Pete Rose's bats and even showed everyone how he did it. It seems pretty clear that
Okay, he showed how he caught the bat. That's mean he caught Pete Rose bat. Two, niggas be rats. I hate niggas, bro. We want clout so fucking much. First of all, so he got 3,000 hits without the cork. And then he needed a cork to get another 1,000. So he did it 3,000 without the cork, and then needed the cork to get another 1,000. Niggas don't make sense, bro. That's why I hate niggas, bro. Like, he didn't need a cork for the first 3K, but the second, the 1,000, I need a cork. I can't hit no more. I just can't. Man, stop it, bro.
Was the one who corked them, and this clubhouse manager recently filmed a video saying that he did cork Pete Rose's bats and even showed everyone how he did it. It seems pretty clear that Pete Rose corked his bats, but it seems likely this was only done during the final few seasons of his career.
We're not believing that he corked his bat, nigga. Only you only you believe that dumb shit. I'm not believing it, nigga. I don't care about no nigga talking about he corked his bat. Did Pete Rose say he corked the bat? If Pete Rose say he ain't corked no bat, he ain't corked no bat.
Career. But Pete Rose still denies ever doing it. Despite being banned, Pete Rose is still often celebrated by baseball. He is not allowed in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he was at the stadium. I thought he was so he came back to all-time hits leader. So I thought he not banned from the stadium no more. He was able. Is he still alive? That's what I want to know. I'm ready to pay that $5,000.
But if you go to Cooperstown, there are over 300 Pete Rose items on display. He was selected for...
Hold on, go to Wartown?
And celebrated by baseball. He is not allowed in the Hall of Fame, but if you go to Cooperstown, there are over 300 Pete Rose items on display. He was selected for the league's All-Century team. He's in the Reds Hall of Fame. His number is retired in Cincinnati, and he even became a Fox Sports baseball analyst in 2015.
But no Hall of Fame?
In 2017, Pete Rose was accused of a relationship with an underage girl in the 70s. He maintains the relationship began when the woman was of age, but when documents of the case were released, he was quickly fired by Fox, and the plans for him to be honored by the Phillies...
I'm done with this shit. I'm done with watching this shit, man. This shit is what I be talking about, bro. That's why niggas can't have nothing. Niggas can't have no legends. Niggas can't have no Hall of Famers. We can't have nothing to ourselves, bro, because they want to ruin it. They try to ruin Kobe. Y'all don't remember. They try to ruin Kobe. I know y'all don't watch, if y'all baseball fans, y'all don't watch basketball, but they try to ruin Kobe. They try to do that. But they try to ruin all our people. Come on, somebody and back in the 70s. It's 2016. I was 50 years ago. What is you talking about, woman? This is pissing me off. I'm not trying to get too engaged and too involved, but this is crazy. We can't have legends, bro. We can't have legends, bro, because they're just going to try to make them look bad. Try to make them look like they... Bro. Pissed me fucking off just now, bro. Pissed me off. He just got back in good graces at the Reds, everything. Everybody loved him. He was a legend. Now this dumb bit. Back in the 70s, you were dating me. I was not a... You are lying. We don't believe you.
Analyst in 2015, but in 2017, Pete Rose was accused of a relationship with an underage girl in the 70s. He maintains the relationship began when the woman was of age, but when documents of the case were released, he was quickly fired by Fox, and the plans for him to be honored by the Phillies were canceled. Despite all of this controversy, it seems like most fans still believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, and to this day, he is still trying to get in. He has applied for reinstatement with every MLB commissioner since his ban and has been denied every single time. So at this point, his chances are slim. But this seems to only add to his legend. Today, he can sell over $10,000 worth of merchandise in one appearance. He has been invited to promote casinos for years, solely because of his reputation as a gambler. He has his own sports betting podcast, and his daily betting picks are featured on a gambling website for $89 a month. As a player, Pete Rose was a fan favorite for his hustle. Since retirement, he stayed relevant in large part just for being banned, and no matter how hard they try to keep him out, his performance on the field has solidified Pete Rose as a baseball icon.
Bro, I'm so mad, bro. This video got me mad. I like watching videos like this because they get me joyful, happy. But this video pissed me off because it make me realize we can't have nothing, bro. I'm gonna let y'all know as a fans, as a people, and I'm just getting to know, I'm just getting to learn more about baseball, bro. We can't have nothing, bro. They want to make all our legends look bad, bro. Really? 50 years later, you talking about someone when we was dating, when we was talking to each other, I was underage? Bitch, what you want, money? When you broke? What you 50-year-old broke lady? You were 56 years old. You talk about something. Why you ain't say this or why this ain't come out when we was like, what the bro? What up? Like, comment, subscribe, bro. I'm sorry for the rants. I'm sorry for all of that, bro. But this got me really tight because 4,000 hits, nigga. Back-to-back World Series.